She was raising money to save her daughter, but her best friend stole every last cent. Instead of surgery, there were luxury hotels, shopping sprees, and photos taken on the back of someone else's pain. When the truth came out, the betrayer made her move, playing the victim. But the mother they tried to break came back stronger than ever. Because when you're fighting for your child, you become the most dangerous kind of woman. I haven't slept in 2 nights. Maybe writing this down will help. 3 days ago, my best friend, Jessica, posted a photo of herself sipping cocktails on a beach in Santorini, Greece. The caption said, "Healing in Paradise." At first, I just scrolled past. But then, I saw the watch she was wearing. Gold Cartier, limited edition. The exact one I'd pointed out in a magazine a few weeks back, when she was pretending to care about my daughter Ava's surgery. That was the moment my stomach dropped. The next hour was a blur of panic. I opened my banking app. The medical fund I'd been saving for, all gone. $84,000. Vanished. Drained by a series of transfers made the week before. Let me back up. My daughter Ava is 10, a natural-born dancer, or she was. Last year, she was in a car accident with her babysitter. Her leg was shattered, and the doctors said it would take a rare, complex surgery to fully restore her movement. Without it, she'd never dance again, or run, or even walk without a limp. I've worked 2 jobs for the last 18 months. Bartending on weekends, working reception by day. Every extra dollar went into that surgery account. It wasn't easy, but we were almost there. The surgery was scheduled for next month. Jessica was my ride or die. We met freshman year of college. She moved in with me and Ava temporarily 5 months ago after breaking up with her boyfriend. At the time, I was grateful. She helped with Ava, cooked, brought home wine on bad days. I should have noticed how interested she suddenly became in the surgery. The dates, the account, the insurance coverage. But I trusted her, like a sister. Then I opened that banking app and saw what she'd done. My name on every transfer. My IP address, my devices. She'd been careful, made it all look like I had moved the money. Just slowly enough that I wouldn't notice until it was too late. I called her. No answer. Texted. Nothing. Then the Instagram stories started popping up. Spa selfies. Champagne breakfasts. Designer bags. That watch. She wasn't hiding it. I called my bank. They opened an investigation. But because the transfers came from my own devices, they said it could be complicated, especially since she had access to my home network. Classic digital gaslight. Ava came into my room that night. "Mom, are we still going to Chicago for the hospital visit next month?" I couldn't answer. How do you tell your little girl that someone she called Aunt Jess stole her shot at healing? Then I noticed something. Ava was wearing a necklace, a little gold ballerina charm. "Jess gave it to me," she said. "She said it was from Greece." My blood ran cold. The next morning, I finally got Jessica on a call. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "God, Emily, relax. It's not life or death. She'll walk again, right? She's young. She'll bounce back." "Bounce back?" I snapped. "You stole everything I had for her surgery." She laughed, I needed a break, okay? You don't know what it's like having no direction, no love life, no job. You're a single mom. You should understand needing an escape. That was it. I hung up and started documenting everything. What she didn't count on? Our mutual friend Rachel is a social media manager and very, very good at digging up receipts. She started screen recording Jessica's stories, screenshots, even tagged purchases. Jessica was making our case for us, one bougie post at a time. But the worst part? Half of our mutuals started DMing me to say I should let it go. That she must have had her reasons. That she's family. Ava isn't collateral. She's my everything. So I called a lawyer. Turns out what Jessica did is digital theft and fraud, even if she knew the passwords and had access. Especially because of the intent. She planned it. I filed the report. Then, Jessica posted another story. A photo of her journaling by the beach with the caption, "Letting go of toxic people and their guilt trips. Energy vampires don't deserve my peace." I sent that straight to the investigator. Then came the twist. She applied for a job at a local nonprofit. Guess who was on the board? Rachel's sister. One email later, with the screenshots attached, and the offer was revoked. You don't get to work in public outreach when you steal a child's medical money. She showed up at my house that night, crying, screaming, "You've destroyed my reputation. I was gonna pay you back." "You destroyed yourself," I said. And just then, Ava came to the door, limping, holding the ballerina necklace. Jessica's tears stopped. Her face crumbled. "Tell her," I said. "Tell her what you did." She ran. Since then, Jessica's been blacklisted by half our circle. Her parents, who once adored her, are making her sell the designer bags and move back home. They're the ones sending monthly repayments now. Ava's surgery is rescheduled. It's still a few months out, but it's happening. She's been marking the days on her calendar again. Yesterday, I found a letter in our mailbox. No return address. Inside, $500 cash and a note. "I know it'll never be enough, but I'm sorry for everything, Jess." I didn't respond, but I added it to Ava's fund. She's going to dance again. That's all that matters. And Jessica? She's finally learning what it means to lose everything. Not because someone took it from her, but because she chose to take what was never hers. I thought that was the end of it. Jessica's betrayal. The hurt, the anger. I thought it had all played out, that I could finally breathe again. But something about the letter, the $500, stuck with me. It gnawed at the back of my mind. Was she really sorry? Could she even comprehend the depth of what she'd done? I wasn't sure, but I had a nagging feeling that this wasn't over yet. 2 weeks later, I was at work when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Rachel. "Check Jessica's new post. You're not going to believe this." I didn't even hesitate. I opened Instagram, and there it was. Another picture of Jessica. Only this time, she wasn't lounging on a beach or sipping cocktails. It was a picture of her sitting at a desk, looking serious, dressed in business attire. And the caption? "Starting fresh, taking responsibility, learning from mistakes, a journey of redemption begins." I scrolled through the comments. People were already praising her for owning up and doing the hard work. Some of our old friends were even saying things like, "Good for you, Jess. We all make mistakes." I couldn't believe it. Was this the same person who had laughed at me on the phone just weeks ago, dismissing the pain she caused like it was nothing? I called Rachel immediately. She's not serious, right? This is just another attempt at manipulating people. She's making it look like a whole redemption arc, Rachel replied. I thought you should know, but don't let her fool you. I wasn't going to. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that Jessica was trying to spin her actions into something she could use to her advantage, to regain what she'd lost. The fact that she was posting so publicly about it, showing the world her transformation, felt like a calculated move, a way to get back into the social circles she'd lost, to regain some kind of sympathy. The next few days were filled with emails, texts, and phone calls from people who had seen her post. The consensus was that they all thought she was trying to make things right. And some even said I should consider giving her another chance. I was livid. I couldn't believe the audacity. She had stolen my daughter's future, my livelihood, and now she was trying to make it look like she was the victim? One evening, after Ava had gone to bed, I sat down at my desk. I opened my email and started drafting a response to Rachel. I wanted to tell her how wrong this all felt, how I knew deep down that Jessica wasn't truly sorry. But as I typed, I paused. Something caught my eye. An attachment from an anonymous email address. The subject line, proof of the lie. I hesitated, heart racing. What was this? I opened the email, and there, in the attachment, was something I wasn't prepared for. It was a series of messages. Jessica had sent them to someone from the nonprofit she had applied to, shortly after the job offer was rescinded. In them, she was angry, furious even. She had been threatening, blaming me for ruining her future, and calling me every name in the book. But the most damning part was the final message, a voicemail she had left. I'll fix this, don't worry. I'll make it right, even if I have to go to drastic measures. Emily will never know what hit her. The hair on my neck stood up. Drastic measures? Who was she talking to? What was she planning? I called Rachel immediately. She listened as I told her everything. Get in touch with the investigator again, Rachel said, her voice steady but urgent. This might be bigger than we thought. If she's planning something else, we need to stop it before it happens. The next few days were a whirlwind. The investigator was able to track down more of Jessica's communications, and what we uncovered was chilling. Jessica had started talking to a shady third party, someone who specialized in manipulating legal situations and creating chaos through social media. She had been planning to frame me, to make it look like I had stolen the money and set her up to take the fall. I felt my stomach twist. She wasn't just trying to win back her social standing. She was willing to ruin me completely. But we weren't about to let that happen. With the help of the investigator, we were able to document everything. We built our case, the threat, the manipulation, the lies. Jessica wasn't going to get away with it. The next time she posted on Instagram, it was a huge shock to everyone. She had deleted all her previous posts about her redemption and posted a new one, a photo of her packing a suitcase. The caption was simple: starting over, leaving behind what I can't fix. I knew this was it. She was running, She had made her move, but this time, I was ready. I reached out to her parents, to our mutual friends and the authorities. The last thing she expected was for the web of lies she'd spun to unravel in the face of the truth. The investigation didn't take long. With everything we had, Jessica was arrested, not just for the theft, but for attempting to orchestrate a malicious campaign against me. I sat across from the investigator in the office, exhausted but resolute. "I think she thought she could get away with it," he said, shaking his head. "But no one can outrun the truth forever." And that was the truth I clung to. Jessica might have tried to take everything from me, but in the end, it was her own choices that led to her downfall. As for Ava, she's healing. Slowly but surely. The surgery will happen soon. And every day, I remind myself that despite all the darkness, there is light. Ava's light. And that's all that matters. We'll dance again, together. The days following Jessica's arrest were a blur. People from all over, old friends, acquaintances, even people I hadn't spoken to in years, reached out. Some expressed shock, some were apologetic, but most were simply stunned. I felt like I was walking through a fog, unable to fully process what had happened. My life had been turned upside down, not once, but twice. First by Jessica's betrayal, and now by the fallout of everything she had tried to do. But there was one thing I couldn't shake. I had to know why. What had truly pushed her to do something so unforgivable? What had been going on in her mind when she decided that destroying Ava's future and mine was the answer to her own misery? I didn't want to reach out. I didn't want to give her any more of my time or energy. But in the end, I couldn't help myself. One night, as the weight of everything threatened to crush me, I sat down and wrote a letter, not to the authorities, not to any of our mutual friends, but to her, to Jessica. Jessica, I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what made you think that betraying me, betraying Ava, was something you could live with. But I'm not writing to ask for your apology. I'm writing because I need to understand. Was it really that bad? Was your life so broken that you had to take ours down with you? I hope you find the peace you're looking for, but not at the expense of others. That's something I'll never understand. Emily, I wasn't sure what I expected to come of it. I didn't even know if she would read it, but it felt like I needed to release the question. That had been haunting me, the one that had kept me up at night. A week later, I received a response. It wasn't a letter, it was an email. I hesitated for a long time before opening it, unsure if I was ready for what it might contain. But curiosity and a twisted need for closure eventually won out. Emily, I can't say sorry in a way that will make sense. What I did is unforgivable. I know that. I wish I could take it all back, but I can't. And you're right to hate me, to never trust me again. What I did was wrong, but you asked why. And maybe it's time someone told you. I've never felt like I was enough. Not for anyone, not for you. I watched you work yourself into the ground for Ava, and I felt so small in comparison. You were always so strong, so capable, and I was just there, watching. I thought if I could just have something, anything for myself, maybe it would be enough. but it wasn't, and it will never be. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't think I deserve it. I just wanted you to know that it wasn't about you or Ava. It was about my own insecurities, my own weaknesses. I chose the wrong way to deal with them, and now I'm paying the price. Goodbye, Jess. I stared at the screen for a long time, unsure how to process the words. Part of me felt relief that she had at least acknowledged the depth of her actions. But another part of me was just angry. Her apology felt hollow, like it was all too little, too late. The damage had been done, and no amount of regret could undo that. But that's the thing about betrayal, about deceit. It doesn't just hurt in the moment. It leaves scars that stay with you. And while Jessica might have been broken, she'd also broken something inside of me. And I knew, deep down, that I couldn't ever go back to the person I was before all of this. We would be okay. The next day, I took Ava to her first physical therapy session. She was nervous at first, her eyes wide with uncertainty as she looked at the machines and equipment around her. But I could see it in her eyes, that spark, that fire, the same fire that had always been there. "Ready to show them what you've got, kiddo?" I asked, squeezing her hand. She smiled, a little unsure, but determined. "I'm ready, Mom." And in that moment, I knew everything was going to be all right. We were moving forward. We were healing. Together. As for Jessica, I didn't know what the future held for her. But one thing was certain. She had made her choices, and now she would have to live with the consequences. I couldn't carry that burden for her anymore. So I let go, and I kept moving forward. Life slowly returned to a sense of normalcy after that. It wasn't an easy road, but it was one we had to take. Ava's physical therapy sessions became a routine, and every week I saw her gaining more strength and confidence. It wasn't just the healing of her leg that I noticed. It was the healing of her spirit. She had always been the brightest light in my life, but now I saw a new kind of resilience in her. The kind that only comes after surviving something difficult, something life-altering. But even though things were looking up, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something else I was missing. Something lingering in the back of my mind that I couldn't fully identify. I kept checking my phone, waiting for a message that never came. Then, one day, as I sat in the waiting room of Ava's appointment, scrolling through my messages, I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. It was from Rachel. "We need to talk. Call me as soon as you get this." I didn't even think twice. I dialed her number, my stomach dropping as the phone rang. "Rachel, what's going on?" Her voice came through the phone, tight and urgent. "Emily, something's happened. I didn't want to scare you, but I think you need to know." "What is it? Is Ava okay?" My heart raced. "Yes, Ava's fine," she said quickly. "It's about Jessica." I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. "What about her?" She's gone," Rachel said softly. "She disappeared." I froze, my breath catching in my throat. "What do you mean, gone?" "Gone, as in missing. No one's heard from her in days. Her parents filed a missing persons report yesterday." I sat there, stunned, unable to speak for a moment. But how? What happened? Did they find anything? They found a note, Rachel continued, her voice strained. It was just a few lines, nothing more than an apology, really. But here's the thing. Jessica didn't take anything with her. No phone, no clothes, no bags. Just that note. I gripped the edge of the chair, my mind racing. A note? Another note from Jessica? Rachel hesitated before speaking again. Emily, there's more. The police went through her social media, her emails, everything. And they found something disturbing. An online journal. A private one. She had been documenting everything that happened with you, with Ava, with the surgery. She mentioned you by name. And she talked about running away, about wanting to disappear, start over, leave it all behind. I closed my eyes, trying to process it. I hadn't expected this. No one had. Do they think it's connected to what she did? I asked quietly. Rachel paused before answering. They don't know, but they're looking into it. They think she might be in danger. There's no sign of foul play, but she's clearly not in the right frame of mind. The silence between us felt heavy, like a weight I couldn't lift. The anger, the betrayal, everything that had happened between us. All of that had been hard to bear. But now this. Now Jessica was missing. I didn't know how to feel. Relief? Guilt? Fear? I don't know what to say, Rachel. I never thought it would come to this. She was my best friend. I trusted her with everything. And now? I know, Rachel interrupted softly. But sometimes, people make choices that have consequences, and we can't always save them from themselves. I swallowed, the tightness in my throat making it hard to speak. What do I do now? I don't know, Em. I don't have all the answers. But if she's out there, she's out of control. And I don't think you should be looking for her, especially not alone. I sat in the silence, thinking about everything that had happened. The pain she had caused, the lies she had told, and now the mystery of where she had gone. One thing was certain. I couldn't let myself get pulled back into her chaos. I'm not going after her, Rachel, I finally said, the decision settling in my chest like a rock. I'm done. She made her choices. I can't let her drag me into whatever mess she's created now. Good, Rachel said, relief in her voice. It's time for you to focus on you and Ava. No more distractions. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. As much as I wanted to help, to fix things, I knew that I couldn't. Jessica had to face her own consequences, and I had to face mine. But despite the clarity, I couldn't help but wonder, was this the last I would hear from Jessica? Or would she come back, like a storm, trying to take everything once again? I tried to push those thoughts away. I had to, because there was something much more important in front of me. Ava. When I went to pick her up after her session, she was sitting in the waiting room, her leg propped up on a pillow as she flipped through a magazine. She looked up when she saw me, her smile bright and infectious. "Hey, Mom," she said, hopping off the chair. "Guess what? I think I'll be able to do a full pirouette in a few weeks. The therapist says I'm ahead of schedule." I smiled, my heart swelling with pride. "I knew you'd do it. You're a fighter." She beamed, but then noticing my quiet demeanor, she asked, "Are you okay?" I knelt down beside her, squeezing her hand gently. "I'm just fine, kiddo. We're just fine." And in that moment, with Ava's hand in mine, I knew that no matter what happened with Jessica, no matter where she was or what she had done, my focus was where it needed to be, on my daughter, on our future. When we got home, the evening sun was already setting, filling the room with a soft, golden light. I watched Ava as she carefully stepped across the floor, trying to keep her balance, then laughing when she managed it. And I realized, this moment, this simple but profound feeling of life, this is what it was all for. The past was painful. I lost a friend. I endured a betrayal that felt impossible to forgive. But despite everything, Ava and I made it through. We didn't just survive, we rose. And now, step by step, we're building a new life. Honest, strong, ours. Sometimes the people you trust the most will be the ones who hurt you the deepest. Sometimes you'll have to fight not for your dreams, but for the chance to believe in them again. But if you stand for what's right, if your love is stronger than your pain, you will win. You might feel like you've been knocked down, but as long as there's breath in you, you can rise. As long as you hold on to what truly matters, love, your people, your why, you're not broken, you're forged. Ava and I don't count the days in fear anymore. Now we count the steps toward our dream, and every single one is a victory. Let the road be long, let the doubts come, but if you're still moving forward, you're already winning. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It really motivates me to keep going and create more stories like this for you.